like to talk to you a few moments today about tempting temptations. Have you ever been away on a thrilling vacation or had a wonderful meal and then suddenly everything seems to fall out, bad news comes, and you just seem to be at the bottom of the life's pit again? I've had that happen. I've seen it happen to other people. I've seen people become married, return from a wonderful honeymoon only to discover that the major job provider has lost his career, has lost his job. I was once in a wedding as a best man. 6 months later, the groom died of cancer. I remember being on a great retreat a few years ago in one of my favorite places, the Mount St. Benedict Monastery. I had a wonderful few days in a hermitage in the woods. I left feeling at peace, serene, one with everything around me, at peace with the world. When I got a few miles away, I was entering the expressway to return to Buffalo, and I saw this large truck coming up the road, and it was 3 lanes. The road was three lanes wide, and I thought, I have lots of time to get on, and suddenly I heard this air horn blasting at me. And I looked in my mirror, and he was almost on my tail and was not giving me an inch. Well, I suddenly lost my peace, and I got quite angry, and I was going to, use that common driver gesture, but I didn't. When I finally got on behind, I just started laughing. I said, how fickle you are, how fragile your world is, how quickly you lose that peace. In the story of Jesus' temptation, it says that he was in the wilderness 40 days and 40 nights fasting and praying. He probably felt wonderfully affirmed by his Creator God. But after that, the devil, it says, takes him out into the wilderness and tempts him more and says, if you are the Son of God, if you are the Son of God. Every temptation is but a temptation to confuse us about our identity. That's the definition from one of my favorite spiritual readings called A Course in Miracles. Temptation is nothing more than something to disguise who we are as the son, the daughter of God. You see, the ego, that part which identifies with the body, does not want us to remember that we are something else, because then he loses his priority. So how are we tempted? Food. Food, I've read, is one of the #1 desires of the human body, even more so than sex. And how we succumb to it. In our country, we have perhaps more food available at inexpensive prices than any other countries. What's the price we pay for it? Well, we're the most overweight. We're the most fat country in the world. We have the highest diabetes rates. We have so high that we're wondering about our young people now who are developing diabetes at a very early age. I myself was developing that risk of diabetes my doctors had been telling me for a few years. And finally I said, is it my genetic code? Is that what it's partly due to? And the doctor said, no, it's mostly due to how you're eating. I found that I was eating so many what he called empty carbohydrates that was causing my glycemic index to be so high, and it just couldn't handle it, and so it was just converting it into fat and wearing out my pancreas. Oh, food is such a tempting. We have so many ways it's made sweet. So I've learned when I go shopping now to go around the outside of the store where the fresh fruits, produce, and the meats are, and stay away from those center aisles. The other temptation which is so tempting is thrills and chills of life. And oh, there's such a market for that in our country. Come here and we will give you an out-of-the-world experience. Movies and rides, all kinds of chances we take. And I've done a lot of that myself. Taking risk riding bicycle around lakes with young people. But we don't have to do those things. We don't have to push our envelope of life survival. In the story here, Jesus is taken up onto a high steeple of the temple, and the devil says, jump off, because if you are the Son of God, the angels will take care of you. Jesus simply says, you can't test the Lord your God. How we do that? We drive too fast, we work too hard, we eat too much. We don't take time to relax and remember who we are. The temptation of the chills, the sensational. The other temptation I remind us of is that temptation to want to control everything. We think we have control, and we like to control everybody around us if we could. Control on our children, even when they're grown up. Control on our spouses, control on our colleagues, control on everybody around us. It's an addiction for many of us. And we live in a country which is the most powerful of the world, powerful military, its wealth, and I don't know about its health, and some of those others are in question. Some of the most contented people and countries are small countries like Ireland, Denmark, who don't have a big military, who don't have a lot of the things that we have, but they have simple lives. Some of my most respected teachers are those who live very simply with simple surroundings and were at great peace. We also live in a church which has a history of always wanting to conquer the world. We were promoters of the Crusades, promoter of colonization in the European countries which tried to take over countries of Africa and Asia and then suddenly convert them to our way. And what a mess we made of those cultures. What a mess we made of our own country here. The massacre, the pogroms of Native Americans is such a blemish on our record, one that perhaps the arrogant church has never really apologized for and asked for forgiveness of what we've done in our arrogance to think that we control everything. No, we don't need that. Jesus just lived a simple ministry of stopping and touching people who wanted help, who asked for help. You perhaps know the story of the eaglet which fell out of the nest and one day ended up in a chicken coop, adopted by a chicken. And so the eaglet grew up thinking that he could cluck and eat chicken food and scratch for bugs and just flap his wings. But one day a large eagle saw him as it was sailing over the chicken coop, came down and said, "What are you doing here? You're not a chicken, you're a majestic eagle." And he said, "Oh, no, I don't think I can fly and I can't eat your food." Well, the eagle said, "Follow me," and he takes him out of the coop and shows him how to flap his wings large and wide and long, and he soon is floating around majestically high like eagles are to fly. And he left the coop. You and I are not just the little chicken coops of this mortal body in this very fragile world which we know so clearly from recent events, but we are a great eagle, the child of God, the son of God, the daughter of God, who belongs in those blue eternal skies of peace and love, and flying with the Spirit and with the angels forever. Resist those temptations to be stuck with that which is mortal. You're not worth that. You can be a part of it and use it as a medium to share love and forgiveness with others, but remember always, here in this life and in the life to come, we are the eternal eagles, eternal children of God. Amen. God's peace. Namaste to you.